Nuggets had a chance to make things interesting at the top of the Western Conference, but scored just once on their final 8 possessions of an overtime loss to the Lakers on Wednesday, just their 5th loss in their last 20 games that have been within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. They closed it with Torrey Craig and Jeremy Grant, and things could be a lot different if they're healthier coming out of the break. Paul Millsap played in the last 3 games, but was limited to 20 minutes off the bench in his return from a left knee injury. The Nuggets have outscored their opponents by 12.5 points per 100 possessions in 766 minutes with Millsap and Nikola Jokic on the floor together, but have been outscored by 2.6 per 100 in 797 minutes with Jokic on the floor with Jeremy Grant. Michael Porter Jr., meanwhile, missed the last 6 games, has played just 11 of the Nuggets' 135 clutch minutes, and just 12 total minutes, clutch or otherwise, will Millsap all season. For a team that's been as good as the Nuggets have been, there are still some rotation questions to be answered in the next 8 weeks. Their game in Oklahoma City on Friday is a potential playoff preview and just the second of their 4 meetings with the Thunder. The last 5 games of the Raptors' 15-game winning streak were the best offensive stretch of their season, 122.6 points scored per 100 possessions. And then, with their bench shooting 4 for 19, they scored just 91 points on 98 possessions as both the winning streak and the champs climbed toward the top 10 in offensive efficiency, where they haven't been since Week 8, came to an end in Brooklyn on Wednesday. If they were to remain where they are, this would be the first time in 7 seasons the Raptors didn't rank in the top 10 offensively. They've seen the league's biggest jump in the percentage of their shots that have come in the restricted area, but its second biggest drop in restricted area field goal percentage, from 63.9%, 12th in the league, last season to 60.7%, 25th, this season. Of course, it's not a big jump from 12th to 7th or 8th in offensive efficiency, so a 7th straight season in the top 10 is well within reach. The Raps have still won 7 straight at home, and their 4-game homestand that begins Friday is, amazingly, their longest of the season. It includes visits from the Pacers, who have lost 12 straight regular season games in Toronto, and the Bucks. It appears that Jason Tatum, still 21 years old for another 2 weeks, has become that dude. While the rest of the league was already on vacation, Tatum gave the Clippers the business in the Celtics' double overtime victory on Thursday. He totaled 39 points, with all 10 of his overtime points coming at the rim, with a drive around Kawhi Leonard and a tough finish over Montrezl Harrell, or at the free throw line. He was 5 for 6 when defended by Leonard or Paul George. The Celtics' late-game offense has been more balanced than it was last season, when Kyrie Irving ranked 3rd in the league in clutch usage rate, 42.8%, Kemba Walker, 30.6%, and Tatum, 25.8%, ranked 27th and 40th, respectively, this season, and Tatum's clutch effective field goal percentage, 61.7%, ranks 3rd among 52 players with at least 35 field goal attempts with the score within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. The Celtics will play the other LA team, who they beat by 32 last month, on Sunday, the second game of a 4-game trip. The Lakers are still undefeated, 17-0, in Western Conference arenas outside of LA, having shut down the Nuggets' offense in overtime on Wednesday. They closed the game with Alex Caruso, who ranks 8th on the Lakers in total minutes, but 4th on the team in clutch minutes, having been on the floor down the stretch of 17 of their 23 games that have been within 5 in the last 5. Caruso has taken just 5 shots in his 44 clutch minutes and he ranks 269th in usage rate among 314 players who have played at least 500 minutes, but most of his value is on the other end of the floor. He ranks 8th in deflections per 36 minutes and the 94.2 points per 100 possessions that the Lakers have allowed with Caruso and LeBron James on the floor together is the best mark among 674 two-man combinations that have played at least 400 minutes. The Lakers will play 17 of their final 29 games at the Staples Center, starting with a fun, 3-game homestand that includes visits from both Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. There's no doubt that the Bucks have been the best team in the league. They have the 4th best point differential in NBA history and the best record, 12-7, including 4-0 against the Lakers, Clippers and Raptors, in games played between the 14 teams that are currently over .500. Their defense has allowed 8.0 fewer points per 100 possessions than the league average, the 3rd best differential in the 24 seasons for which we have play-by-play data. But they've played the fewest games within that group of 14 teams over .500 and the fewest games, 17, versus the league's top 13 offenses, and they rank 8th defensively versus that group. They've passed every test. They just haven't been tested all that much. So the Bucks will be worth watching over the final 8 weeks, with 16 more games, tied for most in the league, against teams with winning records. They'll have more games against teams 2-6 in the East after the break, 10, than they had before it, 9. That includes 3 more meetings with the 2nd-place Raptors and 2 more with the 5th-place Sixers, who are at Fiserv Forum on Saturday.